Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to speak with us today.
Thank you.
I was curious, what drew you to this project? Was it more the character or the script by itself?
I think it was the idea of working with Emmanuel Mouret, whose cinema I really like, and he has a very particular way of filming, of directing, of writing, and I thought it was. I was happy to experiment this universe that he created and that really belongs to him. I also really liked the character. I like the progression of the character. The fact that at the beginning she's certain of everything and she thinks she knows everything about love and that she will never be tricked again, and then the exact contrary happens. And I find it very charming and very true also. I love the idea of having a movie about friendship also. It's friendship in his mind, which is a particular friendship. But nevertheless, the idea of three girlfriends and how they face their destiny and their love life and how they build it in three different ways, and how they influence one another, how they lie to one another, how they accompany each other also.
You mentioned it's a very complex portrayal of friendship, and it has one of the most moving scenes I've probably ever seen. I was curious about that specifically because it's a shift of tone or a different approach between different characters at a different emotional stage. I think you know which scene I'm talking about. So how do you approach this as an actress when you know you're playing a lighter, humoristic side, but you're not supposed to know that this other person is really suffering?
Yeah, it was interesting to see because I discovered the movie yesterday, and there were lots of scenes that I had read, obviously, but I was not in, especially all the scenes between Joanne and the boys she meets, and being completely trapped in her sorrow and in her guilt. And I remember that Emmanuel, when he was filming, was saying, "It's all great. Now I need to know how I can put all those pieces together and find a balance, the perfect balance." And I think he did. But definitely, we each have a color that is very different, and those instruments just reply quite well, it seems to me. But it's very different. And I think sometimes my character is a bit. You don't follow her story as much as you follow the stories of the two others, but. I think those scenes that bear more comedy arrive at good times to give a new breath, add some fun, some humor, some distance also with the tragedy of life. And so I understand how he needed to display his ingredients in a particular way to make it,
Yeah, you mentioned that we don't follow your character quite as much. Were there scenes that were cut? Or, for instance, the story with your character and the painter?
No. A little bit of the scenes, but not much. And then I understood why, because then in the scene after, you just saw what was being talked about. So I understood why. I was thinking about a bit of a scene, the end of a scene. But no, I remember when I read the script that Alice was there at the beginning and then disappeared in the middle. And then in the end, you had bits of her story. But yeah, emotionally, she's not a character who bears the emotion as much as the other girlfriends. So I think, yeah, her distance is here to add this color to the movie, I think.
But it's also a breath of fresh air, the way Alice responds, even if she's proven wrong. It's interesting to see these ideas in film.
Yeah, I think she has emotions, and when she comes back in the end and says, "I'm scared," but it's true that she's a character who finally gets what she wants. I mean, they all in the end get what they want. But yeah, she seems to move in life with a swifter way. Maybe, I don't know.
But because you have already been part of so many international films as well, and this film is described as like the epitome of French cinema, what draws you to French cinema?
It's difficult for me to make a generality about French cinemas because there are so many different directors, and you couldn't compare Emmanuel Mouret to Julia Ducournau. It would be very difficult to find some common points. France has an incredible production of movies, and now people are back in the cinema rooms, and there's a huge appetite, and I think the French audience is pretty cinephile, but you have as many French cinemas as many directors. So I couldn't say, but I think the culture of French cinema keeps inspiring the new directors who come. And Emmanuel talks about Rohmer and how Rohmer inspired him. But then when you talk to him, he talks about Lubitsch, he talks about Hitchcock, he talks about Woody Allen. So not just French cinema, but...
Thank you so much.
Thank you.